Peace and love, love and peace. It's Talib Kweli, the BKMC. You are now rocking with Acton Entertainment. We are in the UK, but we are worldwide. One love.
Feel you. I treat my woman like water. I play with her emotions, got her floating. That's until I get her salty like the ocean. She engrossing. She full of mysteries and revelations. It's ironic. Sea level is the highest elevation. She be moving with the moon, cause she moon and she in tune with the universe. She bloom like bearded irises in June.
The purpose of that meeting at the White House in the Roosevelt Room with Obama and a bunch of rap artists was to discuss criminal justice reform and Obama's commitment to mentorship programs and how artists could use social media in particular to spread information about these things. So the Obama administration and Barack Obama himself made it clear to us that he wanted one of his legacies to be criminal justice reform. One of the things that he's done is he's released more people from prison than any president in history. I think, me personally, from being at that meeting, that he understands that mass incarceration is a scourge. And, you know, the Obama administration also, they ended federal private prisons this year as well. So I think that he brought his favorite artists in the room to try to get us on the same page to spread the word about criminal justice reform.
She get loud at night, way too loud to listen to me, and so I'm out at night. You know this other.
The meeting, Obama is a very personal person. I never met him before, but there had been, you know, Michelle Obama had mentioned that Get By was one of her favorite songs back when they was running back in the day. When we started the meeting, he talked particularly about Get By. He talked about how much he liked that song, but he talked about A$AP Rocky too. One thing he said, because A$AP Rocky was there too. He was like, yo, I like Talib Kweli. I can play that around the White House. I can play Get By around the White House. He said, I can't play A$AP Rocky around the White House, but I still like it equally as much. You know what I'm saying? Which is very, I think, a good thing for him to say. You know what I'm saying? But I did get to pull him to the side after everybody had left, and it was just me and him in the Oval Office. And I explained to him how my grandmother, who is 85 years old, was his biggest fan. And I explained to him how even when I didn't want to vote for him, how my grandmother was mad at me because I didn't want to vote. And I had ripped out a paper from a magazine, a picture of him. And I said, can you please sign this for my grandmother? Because she calls herself the Obama Mama. So I said, sign it to the Obama Mama. He said, I'm not signing that ratchet piece of paper you got there. And I said, ratchet? Where you learn that word from? He said, I got teenage daughters. I know what ratchet is. That paper's ratchet. And he sent one of his aides to get me a glossy of him. And he signed it to the Obama Mama. So I took it, I gave it to my grandmother. Then a couple months later, I got an invite to the White House for his birthday party. So I brought my grandmother. She brought a present for him, a collage she made of him, right? And they specifically on the email, it said, no presents. You can't bring no presents. So I told her, I said, yo, you can't bring, I told we call her Mama. I said, Mama, you can't bring this to the White House. She said, I'm bringing it. So, okay, so she's in a wheelchair. So I rolled her in a wheelchair. She has this collage she made for him. We get to the White House, we there. She sees him, he sees her, and he says, Kweli, is that your grandmother that you was telling me about? That's the first thing he says to me. And I said, yeah. And then if you look on my Instagram, there's a picture I posted of Obama and my grandmother from a couple months ago at that party.
Talking and you listening. When they get to whispering, the snakes start slithering. Rapping how they rich and
I don't know if Mos Def is really retiring until Yasin Bey comes to me and says I'm retiring. No, but to be real with you, I went to see him in South Africa a few months back. And he did tell me he was retiring. He did say that to me. But he has said that to me before. So I don't know how serious. I personally think, from what I know about him, that he is such a lover of music and creating music that he will always create music and he will always find ways to get music out to the people. So to me, that's not a real retirement. I think what he's doing is retiring from the music business, but I think he did that a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? I think he did that years ago. So the announcement to me is just whatever. He's just saying I'm gonna be me.
Shot on the front line, not really foreign cause before they brothers lay their life when it come time. Trust.
No, I would never try to convince that man. You know, I've learned a lot from Yasin Bey. He's given me so much in my career, and there's times when he's made decisions when it's come to things that we've had to do and things that he's had to do as an artist that on the surface and at the time I thought he was tripping, but then in the long run it was like, you know what, Yasin Bey is usually right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't never question that man. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Tribe Called Quest is one of my favorite groups that I grew up admiring and listening to, and I'm blessed to know Q-Tip in a way where it's like we wasn't really that good friends, but I knew him professionally. And a few years back, I'd asked him to do a song on my album, but he's a perfectionist, so he's like, come to my house, and I came to his house, and we've been working on this one song for a long time, you know. And then Phife Dawg passed away, and I kind of stopped asking him about the song. But then I ran into him, and he brought the song. He said, what's that song? I said, hey man, I'm down for whatever. He said, come over to the house tomorrow. I came over, and when I came over, Jerobi was over there, and they were working on the Tribe Called Quest album. So I just went over Q-Tip house every day that week, because for I didn't know they were working on a Tribe Called Quest album. I didn't know that they had Phife Dawg verses and all. I didn't know that. So when I heard that, I'm a student. Talib means student, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to be around. And at a certain point, they was like, yo, why don't you hop on this song? And I wasn't even expecting that at all. Like, I just was like, yeah, can I? You know what I'm saying? Like, and they invited me to hop on the song, and I hopped on the song.
Right, bullets hit his soul, he cleaned the life. That's just what I seen. But I'm trying to change it too. But staying aware at the same.
Yeah, I was around for about a week or so in Tip's home studio, and you know, I'm good friends with Dave Chappelle, so like he was actually in New York doing a comedy routine, and I called him and I was like, yo, you gotta come through Q-Tip's house and hear this Tribe Called Quest album. And he came through, and then he called Chris Rock, and Chris Rock came through, and then the RZA came through. And then, you know what I'm saying, like Consequence came through, and it was like we was all in there listening to the album. And then like Dave was talking about how Lorne Michaels kept wanting him to do Saturday Night Live, and Chris Rock was like, yo, you should do it with Tribe Called Quest. And Dave called Lorne Michaels, and then I went with Dave to Lorne Michaels' house, and I spent the weekend at Lorne Michaels' house while Dave and Lorne Michaels worked out the details for Dave and Tribe Called Quest. So I seen that whole thing go down just from me just wanting to get this song done with Q-Tip. You know what I'm saying?
Good as a rapper. But what come first, the hood of the rapper? When factor in the nigga factories that we trapped in the rapping.
Okay, so I'm working on several different projects at once. The song that Jay Electronica is on is a song on a project called Tour de Force. That's my next solo album. I don't know when it's going to come out, because it was that was my project originally, but I have a secret project that's coming out. I'm going to tell y'all something that a lot of people don't know. Okay, because I had to decide whether or not it was time for me to release this information. You know what I'm saying? Me and Styles P, we got a situation. We got an album together. You know what I'm saying? It's called The 7. And that album, we're doing a tour, the 7 tour that starts in January. So I think that album will come out before my next solo album. So that single with Jay Electronica, it might be pushed back slightly, because the Styles P thing is about to come out soon. Me and Styles P got a lot of songs together over the years. There's 3, 4, 5 songs that we got together that just feel real good. And for some reason, whenever I get on a song with the Ghosts, it feels right. So there's been talk about, Kweli and Styles P sound good together, they should do an album. You know, we've always had a good rapport together. And then I tour a lot, and I had an opportunity to do a tour in the United States, and my booking agency, they said, who you want to rock with, who you want to go on tour with? And I'm like, if I go on tour with Styles P, it'll give me a chance to knock out some music with him. So I called Styles about the tour, and as soon as I said, yo, you want to go on this tour with me? He said, I'll go on a tour if we do an album before the tour. So where I was at with it, he was one step ahead of me. He was like, we need to do an album before the tour and make sure we tour with the album. And so immediately we started working on the album. Now finally I've arrived, but still threw back to all my other blue black people that stick. I try to be a visionary. I try to be a perfectionist, and Jay Electronica is the same way. Music is organic, and even though that's when we recorded it, it's got to come out when it's ready. It's got to come out when the music is right. You know, there's still production aspects. Yummy Bingham singing on the song. You know what I'm saying? We have string section. You know what I'm saying? Like, the music gotta be right for the song. So it's gonna come out. When you hear it, it's gonna be right. Matter of fact, we just finished filming a video for it. Me and Jay Electronica not in it. It's a narrative, but we just finished filming that. So when it's time to roll out, we're gonna roll out right. Jay Electronica's a mastermind. He thinks on the level of Shakespeare and Imhotep. He thinks beyond the average mortal man. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jay Electronica understands exactly what he's doing. And for you to ask that question, he tailored his career for you to ask that question, because he wants people to not understand what the motive is. We're still talking about Jay Electronica. He ain't really dropped no official project. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard some projects, but I think they compilations that other people put together themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that he's enjoying the space he's in, where he doesn't have to commit to having a project, but we still so excited about his bars.
Seems the problem is atomic, but it's microscopic though. I'm courting hoes and pouring foes. It must be something more than this. Hopefully I'm immortal when I never need a mortician.
I saw Kanye reaching out publicly to Jay-Z on stage. So I felt like it was within my right to reach out publicly to him through Twitter. And you know, I don't care about his issues with other rappers, and you know, that's not my concern. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm finding out from that situation that he has some sort of, you know, health situations going on. You know what I'm saying? So that to me is more important than anything he said. But I mean, regarding the Trump thing, yeah, I mean, I stand up to fascism. And any one of my brothers who feels like they're going to enable fascism, I'm going to say something about it. And that don't take away from my love for Kanye or my respect for Kanye. I love Kanye West. I respect the fuck out of Kanye West. He's somebody I respect more than most people. But you know, when it comes to fascism and it comes to bigotry and misogyny and racism, I draw the line there. That's still my brother. But being that he's reaching out to people publicly, and he's publicly said that he's made it harder for his friends to reach out to him, I felt like Twitter was the way for me to say what I had to say. Yeah, maybe one day I'll do a retrospective and we'll invite Mary J. Blige and we'll do I Try. But I think I'm going to do I Try tonight, because in the UK, it seems like they really like that song. Like, I performed it by accident the other day. It wasn't supposed to come on, and it came on, and the UK went crazy. I think we was in Whitstable or something. Like, they went crazy. So, you know.
We praying for that work. We need that occupation. Can I get a church from the congregation? If you're sick of the same conversation, you say.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. My wife was DJing for him. He wasn't really into my music at first. He got into my music through Common and Will I Am. He was friends with Common and Will I Am, and you know, I used to go to his parties, and you know, Prince was you know, rest in peace. He was, you know, of course, anybody who knows anything about music is a fan of Prince, and he's super impactful to my life, and I've seen him perform. My relationship with him, I was allowed to see him perform several times, so to watch him perform and do his shows was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I talked about doing a song with Prince. I mean, when I was on Warner Brothers Records when Prince was like, he was, you know, I mean, do I wish that I could do a song with Prince? Absolutely. If he was alive today, would we have a better chance of doing a song? Absolutely. But I mean, things are what they're supposed to be.
Get it, girl, 'cause tonight is ours.